In this episode of Negative Modifier, we'll be playing the game Delta Green. Delta Green, by design, tackles various mature themes that may be uncomfortable or triggering for listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Alright, so we go up and go through the church main entrance or the church office entrance.
So you immediately get kind of greeted by a very chipper person.
Good afternoon, Daniel.
What brings you two special people here to our ever so special church?
Well, we were actually looking into some of the history of the town, doing an investigation, and
an investigation.
We just wanted to look into the history of the town. We were kind of just led to believe that if anybody had any kind of records regarding to the people that might have moved into the area, and when they moved in, and when they lived here, and when they may have passed on, that have those kind of records. The town actually has like a historical society. If you could just point us the way to them, we'll go talk to them.
Nope, that'd probably be us. We'd make a habit of knowing something about everyone in town. Real friendly like that. You got a name we could maybe help you track down or something? Again,
it's more like our investigation is connected to relatives that may have lived here a long time ago. And because of that, we were just looking into the area. We've got two names. One being Felder, the other one being Baskell.
We'll also take Basker, right? Baskell or Basker, something like that.
Yeah. Felder might be pronounced a couple different ways as well.
No, nothing springs to mind for that. Tell you what, though, if you just come with me, we can give you a tour of the chapel. And any interest in joining? I know you're new in town, but it's never too late to save your souls.
Oh, well, we're not going to be staying that long. Good sir, but
Christ travels with you everywhere.
I think we ought to meet up with our friends.
Extra flyer miles.
Bring them all by. Church is always open to everyone.
Well, we appreciate your help, Daniel, was it?
Hey, and if Jesus ever wants to get rid of those frequent flyer miles, give me a call.
Take care.
Pushing your luck, Jumper.
Or forget a face.
Well, that was not very helpful. I think they used their network of town knowledge as a trap.
No matter what question we probably would have asked, somehow I get the feeling it would have led us to church.
Give me a cult check.
You want to buy a 57 Ford? You should probably go to church. I bet somebody there has one.
Yeah.
Well, I passed with a 40 out of 50.
Agent Jumper's pretty sure that, yeah, she was completely correct. This was going to turn into a recruitment thing pretty aggressively real soon.
They're going to want you to drink the Kool-Aid, Jackal.
So are we...
Basically, yeah, this is a very small town. So you're meeting in the church parking lot?
Any news?
Yeah, we found the place.
Good. Well, we found religion, and if you would like to go join, David would love to help you out. That was all we found. So let's go to your place.
Okay, so we're pretty sure. Let's think this through. We're pretty sure that this place is harboring this guy. I mean, it was a nail on the head description. It's got a German name. It's the Bauernhof farm, and the planes from the airstrip, they bank over it. Hence the plane fuel trace samples that we found. It's not being utilized as a farm, which it fits the description perfectly. There's really nowhere else. It's so. Does it make more sense for us to go check it out in daylight, where we're going to obviously reveal ourselves? I mean, this guy presumably knows who we are. So, do we do that, or do we wait for the cover of nightfall and try to sneak up on the place? What are your thoughts?
We're going to go in for a raid.
Landscape at all? Like, what's on the farm? Is it a open field?
I got an idea. It's early enough in the afternoon. Let's go see if we can get a plane.
Oh, there you go.
They are marshals.
Or just ask somebody to take us up.
If not all of us, maybe just a couple of us to scope it out.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you're a reporter on a good, the marshal cover. Either way, I think we can get in a plane and get a good look at the place. They would have a good camera.
Great jumper might, but
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I was just hoping for our findings that we can review later.
oh, I get it.
We could, in theory, hit up federal agencies and see if they would have. Otherwise, I guess we could just snap pictures of their phones.
Actually, the Department of Land.
I say we go there. I mean, if we're going to go up in the air, we probably want to do it with some swiftness at this point, before it gets too dark, and then
Yeah.
It's also possible the forestry might have a drone or something. You could remember this is the modern era; like they'd be using modern tech to do.
Go back to
Be a little
we could
less
ask-
conspicuous than a plane, so I like that option.
I was going to say we could ask the pilot of the plane to do the exact bank that they do over the property normally.
yeah. If he said that a plane is always over, then in theory, the plane would be potentially less conspicuous than the drone. Drone's smaller, but I think I pay more attention to drones than I do to planes. Kind of an oddity.
Let's go to forestry and see if David will lend us a camera. We already used our marshal credentials on them, so
Right, back to forestry it is.
we have a follow-up request. We're wondering if you have a DSLR camera we might be able to borrow for the afternoon. It's part of our federal investigation.
Okay. What did you agents say you were here looking into again?
It's a federal investigation.
Yeah, I get that, but not a lot here happens that's on the federal scale except wildfires and farming. Something in town we should be aware of or something like that?
I don't think it's of any. So you shouldn't be concerned, but we could really use your help on this one.
What agents did you say you were part of again?
We're U.S. Marshals.
Marshals, and what are the marshals looking for exactly out here?
Again, that's pursuant to investigation. We're really not at liberty to say. If you'd like, I can leave you with my credentials. And you can please contact me if you don't get your camera back. I'll be happy if we break it or whatnot to replace it out of our budget. That's not a problem.
Give me a persuade roll. Yeah. Can I see those credentials, Agent? All things being the same, if I'm going to start loaning out hardware, I'm going to want to try and might take like a day or so to get that to go through. You may have noticed cell phone signals aren't exactly perfect out here.
Sure. As you can see here, Agent Joseph Murphy, U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, so he writes all that down. He's like, yeah, give me till tomorrow to run this, and assuming it all comes back clean, which I'm sure it will, we'll talk about the camera tomorrow.
We'll leave you a deposit on the camera if need be. We could really use your assistance on this one. Again, we don't think that there's any threat to you or to the good people of Malta, but there is a bit of a we could say time is of the essence. We've uncovered something that we'd like to really take a look at as soon as possible before anyone might have an opportunity to alter it. And anything that you could do, or if you know of anywhere else we can get a quality camera. Ours is with our stuff 3 hours away. So 77 out of 42.
Yeah, so I kind of turned to Sadie. Sadie, remember that thing we talked about that one time? If you wouldn't mind staying here with me, I'll run that number real quick, and assuming it all comes back fine, we'll keep talking. But this is all starting to strike me as a little bit strange all of a sudden. Show up in town. I didn't receive anything. I'm the closest to law enforcement we have for several miles. They
Jackal, you want to call Pine? See if she can get us a camera or get us out of this. I assume they're going to run everything and it'll check out.
99 fumble.
She does not pick up. Ranger David sees this, and he does not like this. Everything about this whole situation is really suspicious in his book. Kind of like puts a hand on his sidearm right now. Agents, I'll invite you to take a seat.
I want him to run the numbers. And
so their official-looking badges, you're not marshals, though. Like, they didn't inject you into the marshal database. They just gave you credentials that will pass for it.
Yeah.
See, I was operating under the assumption that they did.
Oh, yeah, no. You're not marshals. These are just credentials.
Want to try to talk our way out of this?
Yeah, I think we're digging a hole for ourselves. We should just try to walk out, maybe.
You could also lead into the marshalness and kind of maybe explain more of like the marshal explanation of why you're there. Like, marshals showing up needing a camera, that is inherently a little bit suspicious. In theory, marshals would come equipped with a camera kind of thing.
Can I try to flag the other two?
Yeah, give me a luck.
He liked jet lag. 82 out of 50
luck.
failure.
No such luck. You failed that coin flip. So you're kind of waving your hand. Things are getting tense in here. This park ranger has his hand on his pistol, his up, kind of service handgun kind of thing.
Past experience. Did you have a run-in with some agents at one point? What's going on here? This seems a little...
Marshals randomly show up in a small town. You guys are marshals, but then coming back and trying to requisition equipment, that makes me start thinking you all might be pretending to be marshals. It's a good cover, I suppose.
Well, I think to be marshals is a little extravagant to get a camera. We can go maybe buy one from the store down the street or something. Why don't you give us our badges back? We'll get out of your hair. Don't have to worry about forestry issued camera.
Give me a persuade on that one.
98 failure.
Son of a bitch.
Or we all stand here, I run those numbers, and then we talk after we see what comes up.
Or you are impeding a federal investigation.
On federal land.
Can I do an alertness check to see if I notice anything going on?
Yeah, we've been in there for a while.
Yeah, this is definitely suspicious at this point. Oh yeah, no, this is weird. This is bad. Like, this should not have taken this long. You also kind of notice this very pale-looking woman kind of scuttle out of the place, like look at you in jumper and kind of like hurriedly run off down the street kind of thing.
All right,
just like
better go look into this.
I mean, clearly they couldn't have gotten themselves in trouble.
All right, so you walk in and you're greeted with a very strange scene. So Jackal and Jotun are standing there. There's a very kind of the room from where you walk in. Kind of, he sees you. Who the shit are you two?
Well, he met Michael.
I was there before.
More of a reaction of surprise than not knowing kind of thing. Like, there's now, as far as he knows, at least 3 federal marshals in his office. And it's like, well, this is weird. Like, this keeps getting weirder.
Whoa, what's going on here? Hands off the firearms, boys. We just got to have a little chat here. What's going on? What's the story? I thought we were getting a camera. What happened?
Boy Scout here doesn't believe us, and we can't get a hold of our handler.
I see. Mr. David here, what seems to be the problem?
I don't know what's going on. I don't like that, but we suddenly have 3, kind of looks at Jumper, 4 federal marshals show up, not talking about anything.
I said, I'm more data analysis and public relations. Let's kick in the door when I point at the other.
Federal data analysis show up in Malta, of all places.
Yeah,
sure.
Can you explain what was going on?
We gave as many necessary details without revealing any part of our...
You were vague as shit, weren't you?
There are certain things that we do not need to disclose in our current situation.
He's a federal agent. I mean, yes, he's a park ranger. He's not a marshal like us, but I think we can trust him with some details, people. They just told you it was a federal investigation, probably, right? Need to know.
That's about the gist of it, yeah.
At a crime scene connected to a homegrown terrorist cell. It's due to the fact that we believe that the person who was financing them may own property in the area and use it as a, safe house. We're trying to track down the financer behind this terrorist organization that we took out down in Louisiana.
Give me a persuaded plus 20 for that one, actually. I like that explanation a lot.
And I got a 22 out of 70.
All right, so Ranger David hears this. Yeah, pauses for a sec, kind of slowly relaxes, kind of looks at all of you suspiciously.
The analysis we got from that soil I was telling you about. We were going to rent a plane, take some aerial footage, see what we could spot, see if there's anything suspicious, probable cause to go onto the property. If there is something suspicious, then we'll continue our investigation with the property.
It was the Barenhof farm. I think someone dangerous lives there. Drone footage of that area out there a couple of days ago. Probably just kind of general ranger work. Okay, yeah. Wanders off. The air in the room is still tense, but not like it was 10 seconds ago. It's gone for about a minute. You got a little bit of time to talk amongst yourselves if you want.
That was some bullshit I just put in.
Good cover, Jumper. Better than I could do.
Apparently you don't walk into a forestry office and ask for a camera.
Next time, let's go to the Land Bureau to ask for the camera. I don't think they walk around with guns.
All right, so David's gone a couple minutes. He comes back with some printed out pictures and stuff, kind of throws them down. He's like, I'm not sure you're hoping to find. It's just a farm, like middle of nowhere farm. All right, so give me a search on this one.
3 out of 41.
Yeah.
69 out of 74.
All right, so kind of everyone's looking at this, and collectively you start kind of tagging various buildings. Your takeaways are the farm does look like it's probably still inhabited. Like, it's not well maintained, but there are like the occasional tire track in the ground that doesn't seem to be from anything obvious. The truck there, or a vehicle of some kind there, probably a truck based on just the angle you can't quite tell. There do seem to be kind of a couple points of interest on the property, though. There's a large kind of rundown farmhouse. It's not like collapsing on itself, but it's definitely starting to show its wear. The paint's starting to peel off of it some. There's a large barn. There's a grain grain silo. There's also kind of a field off towards one side that's just like, it's gone wild. It's mostly just kind of wildflowers and stuff at this point. There appears to be like a shed behind some type of garden. And yeah, that's about it.
As far as like, I mean, we'd be analyzing it for how, I think we'd be analyzing it for how easy is it to raid.
That's probably a military science. Give me a check on that.
I have military science land. 7 success.
Yeah, this is a pretty easy to assault target. Like, this is probably something that both for you and anyone doing this, though. But again, like, it's kind of hard to tell from just the drone footage of this, like the top-down mostly view. There's nothing around it, so you would have to be too worried about kind of people investigating immediately if things started popping off. But also, there's no animals around. There's no like chickens. There's no cows or anything like that. There's not even like, the only sign someone lives there is that there is a vehicle and that there are tire tracks. But beyond that, like, not a lot of signs of life.
Tracks are going, and
yeah, they just kind of come down the road that you'd probably take to get there, and they go off into the barn.
Into the barn.
Yeah.
We're allowed to keep these photos, sir. I think we should go discuss the.
If you find someone, I guess let me know, and I can try and run.
Does that mean we're gonna have to lay low now?
If we're gonna do something, we probably should do it quick.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied, agents, as long as we can keep these photos.
Agent Jumper, as you're all leaving, give me a persuade check. Yeah, so kind of over your shoulder, you see him pick up the piece of paper that he wrote down, some numbers on. Agent Jotun and Jack would know that's the thing they wrote down. Kind of looks at it, looks at his computer, looks at it again, and just tosses it in the garbage. Like, it's just not worth my time. I'm not too old, but yeah, it's like, I stop wildfires. This is something else. All right, cool. So, you've exited the ranger station. That was a thing that could have gone very badly. You have a location. You know how to get there. You have a truck. What's the plan?
You're in the truck right now, are we? Or
Yeah.
just walking over there? No.
I'm not gonna make you cross a parking lot in real time. Like, role play me a parking lot scene. You're right. Yeah. No, you can be in the truck.
Oh, we're going to the steak place.
Are you going to the steak place first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dinner time.
All right.
Are we really gonna wait till it? Yeah. Okay.
Well, what do we? So okay. So we got our pictures. Let's okay. We got the pictures. It's late in the evening late in the afternoon at the earliest. Right? We're talking like what is it? I think when we went into the ranger station, it was like 2. Because I was thinking like we got enough daylight.
Yeah.
I remember getting a time from you. I don't remember what the time was, but I remember we had enough daylight to like.
It's not like nighttime yet. You're right. Yeah, but at the same time, like, do you really want to raid Felder's place at night
On an empty stomach? No.
I do not have night vision goggles, and I am like a 55-year-old man, so I'm probably not in the best shape to be doing nighttime raids.
Okay. All right. All right.
Well,
So
the best time for us to raid is probably dusk, which I think we talked about at one point. So I guess we probably should kill a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Did we decide dusk was the best time?
Kind of
I'm fine
low
with it.
shadows.
Maybe we need to discuss our plan of attack over dinner.
Yeah,
I
it wouldn't
agree.
be a bad call.
Let's
All right,
let's
we're
go
going to
check
that
out that
corner
steak
place.
place. Absolutely,
So
we are.
I guess with that also in mind, like, you guys have the stuff in the back of the truck. You haven't actually looked at the stuff in the back of the truck in any detail yet. Like, you know it's there. You haven't gone through it though in any kind of measure. You just know there's some guns and you're assuming were kind of flak chests or body armor back there.
Let's check it out.
So you're just gonna do it in the parking lot of the ranger station. You got kind of like pull off to the side of
No,
a road.
we're gonna get
like,
the hell
what's
away
the
from the
call?
ranger station. I want to get the hell away from the ranger station.
Probably a smart call.
I'm sick of them. Let's go check out this this steak joint.
So you're gonna check out the back of the truck in the parking lot of the steak place.
No. Can we just find like an empty parking lot in this town or something?
You can.
think
I was all
we'd be-
for that idea
You know-
too.
I think we'd be less conspicuous at the steak place than we would be going through the back of a truck in just some parking lot.
All right. Okay, yeah, we'll just go to the steak place. I'll
Okay.
drive.
We're going to the steak place.
Yeah, so you get there without incident. I'm assuming you kind of park as far away as you can to be as inconspicuous as possible as you're rifling through the back of the truck.
Sure, or just facing away from anyone that can see.
Sure, yeah. This area is mostly surrounded by farmland, so yeah,
We've got the back of the truck pointed toward an empty lot. How about
Sure.
that?
it's fun. All right, cool. So pop open the back of the truck and you start pulling stuff out, and yeah. So in addition to the kind of the guns and the body armor you saw, there's a plastic box, like it's like a Pelican case or something like that. And give me a search.
18 out of 44 success.
Yeah, so it's kind of faded into it almost, like it's like that kind of that black on black effect, so it's not necessarily apparently obvious. But as you're looking at it, reads March Technologies. Yeah. And then kind of start going through the other stuff, and as you pull the guns out, you notice that in the similar kind of manner on the bottom of the magazines, they are marked with March Industries. Kind of a weird thing, but you got these guns. Someone give me a firearms check to see what the hell they actually are.
Doing it. I failed. No,
I
Right,
passed.
Yeah.
So Agent Jetlag recognizes this as a SIG SG-550, a favorite firearm of high tactical environments, specifically the U.S. SWAT. You originally Swiss-made, kind of it's an assault rifle designed for closer combat. These are equipped. They're pretty decked out. Like, not only are these things almost like new as best as you can tell, there's still the grease you want on a new gun kind of thing. They have an underbarrel shotgun attachment to them. They have a variety of laser sights and a flashlight attached to it. This is some hardware kind of thing. Like, this is either some strings were pulled or like a convoy was redirected that got you these things. This is unlike your previous operations where you were kind of operating by the skin of your teeth. It sure does seem like Miss Pine has your back a little bit more on this one. Like, she's providing a little more resources. Like, there's this truck, there's the body armor, there's these guns. It's the full help of Delta Green is behind you, if you will.
Jetlag, you recognize these?
Yeah, I used these once before in one of my training exercises with EPA. We were Co-training with a local SWAT group, and these are some SIG SG-550s.
Nice.
I don't know about these March Industries things, though. That's new to me.
Yes.
I've tried to see if there would be a check of just like company knowledge. I don't know.
Potentially, give me a bureaucracy check on that one. Given your line of work, you might have actually come in contact with March before.
Okay. 59 out of 62 success?
Yeah, so you've heard of March, actually. They are a huge kind of megacorp that has a bunch of art. They're not DARPA, but they certainly have a DARPA style to them, I guess. Like they're very involved in R&D. There's a lot of cutting edge tech that comes out of it, specifically kind of weapon focused, but also they're just a big company, kind of that GE effect where it's like, what do they make exactly? A lot of things, but all of it's very powerful, for lack of a better phrase. It's a big company. Like, it's a little bit weird that these guns are marked with March, but at the same time, it completely makes sense that March would have a firearms division, hypothetically. That's that kind of company. But also, you know that the SIG SG-550 is not made in the U.S. It's a Swiss design. Admittedly, it's been kind of mass-produced by a variety of other people, but it's kind of known for being a Swiss firearm. So this is a tad strange, but also maybe they made the cartridges, the clips.
Can we look in that Pelican box?
You have not yet, but you absolutely can. Yeah, so inside of the Pelican box, it's a bunch of foam. There is a satellite phone.
Okay.
Does it have any pre-programmed numbers in it?
You gotta turn it on? All right, so you open it up, fire it up, and it immediately starts saying connecting across the front of it. And it seems to be dialing out to something. And Miss Pine picks up on the other end. Agents, I see you found your phone.
Yes, we did. Why do we need the sat phone versus our usual cell phones, Miss Pine?
Let's just say this is a low cell phone frequency area. We wanted to make sure our calls could get to and from you effectively.
I see. Okay, we'll keep it on us and keep it on.
Good. Have you found the target yet?
I believe we have. We have a very strong lead on where they're likely to be. We are planning to investigate later tonight around dusk.
Excellent. A request has come in from higher up the food chain. Obviously, the priority is to eliminate Felder, but if you find any resources that might be in any way, shape, or form useful in recovery inside of in wherever you find him, if he indeed is at this location, please leave him intact. Obviously, anything too dangerous, feel pre-destroyed, but if you think anything might be useful in our ongoing efforts in this, leave it there. We'll deploy a Coral Nomad team to recover it after you leave.
Affirmative, message received. We will keep our eyes open for anything that could be of interest.
Thank you, agents. She kind of hangs up.
All right, everybody, we have a connection to Miss Pine if needed while we are out in the field, so do not need to bring your cell phone necessarily, except to document pictures potentially.
Someone who has law as a background, give me actually a criminology test.
Criminology or law?
Criminology.
Yeah.
You got 50. You would know this anyway. Both of you would know this automatically anyway. You got 50. Yeah, so despite the fact that cell phones are cell phones, you can track people with them constantly. So yeah, maybe not taking them or at least turning them off would be a very smart idea if you're going to raid a compound.
Yeah.
It's a nice plausible deniability.
Perhaps we should all put our phones on airplane mode for the duration of this event.
Oh, I plan to turn mine off, pull out my SIM card, and toss it at the bottom of this trunk here.
Even better.
Do we have a camera we could still use while we're on site?
The can't, but you could use the phone in airplane mode hypothetically or something.
Yeah, I'll take out my SIM card as well, but keep my phone on me as a camera.
All right, I guess if you feel that's prudent, I'll do the same.
So our friend who we met at the bar, who we had a drink with at the bar, urged us to burn everything that we find. That goes against what Miss Pine just directed us. Who are we going to follow? I guess we'll have to wait and see what we find there.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what I see, but I prefer to keep options available. If we destroy everything, then the decision is taken from us. So,
Indeed.
I mean, fires happen too.
I guess that would. I guess I hadn't considered not following orders.
I kind of feel like burning your by the smartest.
I don't know exactly what the harm would be in it. In documenting everything, doing what we're asked to do. Not that she's, the sweetest person I've ever met or anything, but
Well, let's go have some steaks.
I agree.
Or whatever they serve in this joint.
All right, so you guys want to kind of role play over dinner, or please kind of hand wave the steak dinner part?
Well, I thought we were using the steak dinner to kind of plan our...
That's fair. I totally forgot. Yeah. All right, so you go in. It's not exactly hopping in there in kind of mid-afternoon. You find a table quickly. You eventually get kind of in a back corner away from everyone, but no one can kind of walk up behind you. Waitress is pleasant enough, but also kind of notes like, you guys aren't from around here, are you?
Oh, you can tell?
It's a small town, hon. Not a lot of new faces come through with all that frequency.
We're here working with the forestry department.
Are you now? Well, I guess we'll be seeing a lot more of you in the future. It's almost fire season, I guess. What can I get you?
It's a brief visit, but it's always fun to check out the field offices. So I was interested in maybe getting some steak. It is a steak house, as I see
have
here.
That.
All right.
Anyone say anything weirder or no? Or is it steak all around?
Steak all around.
Steak all around for me.
Potato and a salad.
Kind of looks at you quizzically and shrugs. Okay. Yes, the food comes out, and it's good food for the situation kind of thing. You've definitely had worse food, but like something just it's not as good as food you've had, I guess. Like there's a memory of some food you've had that just kind of it seems to eclipse all other food you've had, but you can't quite just it's fine. Like maybe this has been better a couple weeks ago or something, but who knows? So you want to take this time to talk over the plan? Let's go through that. What is the plan?
Well, okay. So, do we still have the pictures?
Yeah.
All right. So,
Do we have two? Should we split up into two groups? Have two people go around the side of the building?
Yeah. So what I'm going to say is, you, sir, Mr. Retired Navy SEAL, if I've got that right, you can probably plan this for us. I'm not much of the planning the assault guy. I'm more of the waiting in the car for the door to already be kicked in and the premise to be secured guy. So here you go.
Well, unfortunately, I think we should have all boots on the ground as opposed to somebody waiting in the car, but
I'm not saying I'm waiting in the car this time. I'm saying under a normal circumstance, which obviously this is not, I don't do these things. I wanted your opinion.
well, why don't we scope out the perimeter, all four of us, before we knock on the door? Two people will stay off to the side, sort of in the back of the building, checking out windows, while the other two knock on the door and see who responds.
I'm sorry, we're tracking down some kind of immortal Nazi wizard, and your plan is to walk up and knock on the door?
Or we could just kick it down.
Yeah.
I guess I just assumed it's very obviously the place we're looking for. Then again, maybe it's not. Maybe the whole thing's a trick.
Maybe we don't actually know who's taking up residence here, I suppose. Or
I found that
or whatever.
I found that forestry guy mighty suspicious. Maybe it's him. Maybe he's our Felder in his latest form.
I believe he was Jewish, so probably not a Nazi. But that's just my opinion.
I'm saying he could be in disguise.
Well, that'd be a really great disguise for a Nazi.
Remember, Felder's technically pre-Nazi. Thule predate all that stuff.
So let me just ask a very basic question. Are we going in guns blazing, or are we going to try to stealth our way there, or what?
Well, I thought we were stealthing our way up and kicking in the door and guns a-blazing.
I had assumed guns blazing, but now I'm starting to question whether or not that's the best means. I mean, we don't know for sure. It seemed pretty obvious. All signs were pointing to this is the place. Show up there. he's going to be there. I hadn't considered that it might not be the place, and there might just be a normal family inside. Although they said nobody lives there, right? They said nobody comes out.
Well, should we just scope out the whole place in stealth and try to get in stealthily and make no disturbances? Let's see what we find.
Yeah. So you tell
I'll
me
just
how
throw
would
out
you?
that last time we tried to stealth Jackal and myself, I did not perform particularly admirably. It may be my old age catching up with me a little bit, so I just want to warn everybody that I may not be the stealthy young buck I once was.
Well, we're in a open farm property as opposed to a swamp, so hopefully it'll be a little easier.
I mean, I can give it a shot, but I don't know how effective I'll be either at sneaking around. I mean, okay, so here's a question. If he's so powerful, why didn't he just kill us before?
Good question. What does he want?
Obviously, he can do some shit, but turning into sand and whatnot. But is it shit that is, actually potentially harmful, or is it mostly those, some kind of occult parlor tricks? Yeah, we don't know what he's trying to do either. I mean, he was getting information out of the. He said he wanted more information from that crocodile monster. So either it was, I don't know if he had a means of communicating with it, or if he was just studying it as some sort of, as one would a beast. But I don't know if it had any kind of intelligence. But he said he was getting something from it, getting some sort of information. So I don't know.
Well, as far as Felder goes, we should be prepared to meet multiple versions, some of them being sand. How you prepare for that kind of thing is beyond me.
Right. I had also not considered that there could be more than one of him when we get there. That's another wrinkle. Of course, there could also be, he could have any manner of associates, be it, whatever the Idaho equivalent of a crocodile person and an alligator person is, whatever that was. Some kind of vicious humanoid potato.
So, in terms of a plan, we split into two groups and each go around one side of the house, looking in windows, if we can see anything, and meet in the back. And then from there, we can either go inside the house or go down to the barn where the tire tracks led and do a scope on the barn, see what we find before entering the house.
Okay, so we scope out both those buildings. Okay, so what are the two teams? And who does what?
We can just stick with the teams we had earlier. Jumper and I went to the church, be one team, and you two who handled the forest. Yeah, who handled the forestry department. So tactfully, you guys can continue to be a team.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. All right. And so who gets the house? Who gets the barn? Or do we just just kind of run around both in a perimeter or something?
We'll go the opposite directions around the house, meet in the back, and then all four of us will walk over to the barn. Two will stay outside of the barn, keeping watch, while the other two investigate the interior. How does that sound?
You want a reminder of all the things on the plot of land, I guess, quickly while you're going over this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got this, you got the barn, you've got the farmhouse, you've got this grain and a grain silo that you can kind of see from the air. There also appears to be a garden of some kind of behind the house, and around this entire thing there is a field that's grown up. Like it's corn or something, potentially. It would block view to the farm.
What about, trees?
Idaho's not known for its trees in this instance. Think farmland, lots of just open space.
Okay. Field blocking view.
And there are crops growing up. There is something growing in the field, I guess. It's not just kind of wide open plains, I guess.
Okay, so it would provide cover.
Yeah. Both for sneaking and also from people around you, hypothetically.
Should we also try to scope out the grain silo? I'm not sure if we'd have to go up to the top to get in, or I don't know. Do these things normally have a door on the?
Yeah, they have a door on the front level? Typically.
Yeah, you don't want to jump into a grain silo. Could be the end of you. All right, so is there anything we can roll to figure out the best course of action? I don't know.
Really? You can do some intelligence tests, I guess, if you want. I can give you some advice based on have your backgrounds, but beyond that, like,
Yeah, Jumper has nothing to really add to this. She's just like, this is still out of my wheelhouse.
who has military science? Actually, that in theory you could roll to get some hints out of me too on this topic.
I have military science, and I failed it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I have high military silent science, and we're rolling too great.
Yeah. No, it's 60's high enough. I'll kind of give it to you. Like, yeah. So a typical situation, this would, like, based on kind of military background, Agent Jackal, you'd come in hard on this type of target. Like, it's all about the element of surprise. There's a lot of open space to cover, and there's not enough of you to really kind of have a good perimeter of this. So it would make sense to kind of roll up hard on this location, then kind of maybe, if you're assuming the farmhouse is the main lowest, the kind of the main target, hit the farmhouse as hard as possible, and then kind of do that sweep there, and then expand your search from there, if need be. It's the most kind of from a tactical advantageous position. It's in the most centralized to the entire area. It's got the view that kind of looks out in every direction. Like, if you were planning an ambush, that's where you'd set up shop, hypothetically. But it also would make sense to kind of maybe like try and work your way around the entire property through the fields or something like that. Like,
well, why don't I change my plan?
All right.
Why don't we just try to get into the farmhouse as fast as we can when we pull up?
Like literally just roll up in the vehicle, jump out, run in?
Yeah, I think so. I think two of us should kick in the front door. I mean, not guns blazing, but guns ready to blaze. And the other two people should go around to the back and enter from the back. And we'll just do a full sweep of the interior of the farmhouse, what we find. That's the best place to be holed up, and we can decide to go to the barn from there if we need to.
That works for me.
House first, barn next, silo last. That makes plenty of sense to me, too.
Sounds good. So I volunteer myself to kick in the front door, and if anybody else wants to join me.
Oh, the pleasure's all yours. Go for it.
I'm a fairly good shot, unless jet lag, you want to back him up?
Well, I was going to say I can go to the back of the house if we're coming in from both ends.
All right, so Jumper, you want to go with jet lag? And that way Jackal and I can draw the attention to ourselves, and the two of you can, right? Or are we just going to kick in both doors and hope that it throws off whoever's in there? Is the idea that we kick in the front door and the two of you hold the back or sneak in the back or something like that? Or is the idea that we just all barge in?
Let's have the other two sneak in the back.
Yeah.
Sounds like as good a plan as any. And again, we are just pulling up in the truck, or are we going to sneak through the field?
Pulling up.
If we're trying to get the jump on them, doesn't it make sense to come in through the field? See if we can, just quietly kind of make it onto the porch. I think the truck coming up the drive would draw more attention than 4 people coming out of some tall grass or whatever that is, corn.
So just pull up one lot down and leave the truck in the side road.
Pictures, you have plenty of, I'd say based on the pictures, you have plenty of kind of land that would make up this guy's, the road to his house, I guess, kind of thing. Like it's a solo driveway for over a mile kind of thing to get there. Like, again, I'm not sure if you've ever been to a place like this. It's spread out enough that you'd have like easily plenty of spots to ditch the car that would be nowhere near within sight of the house.
Okay.
All right, we're doing this after steak, or do you guys think we should drive back to Boise, come back, do it in the morning?
Let's do it tonight. I think we created enough hubbub at the forestry department. We shouldn't wait any longer.
Fair enough.
I mean, with the town gossip having run out of that building.
All right, is it dusk yet?
Yeah, well, you guys kind of chat and you have your dinner and stuff like that. Time passes, you're not even in a rush, so yeah. So we'll kind of fast forward to dusk at this point. You're driving out to the farm, the Bauernhof farm. based on kind of like rough estimates. Give me a navigation check.
Failure.
Close, but you're not quite sure exactly how far out you are.
I also failed, obviously.
Yep. Remember to read out the numbers as part of it.
Yep, 67 out of 10.
90 down to 32. Fumble. Going the wrong direction.
Apparently, Agent Jetlag tells you to go down several streets that are just obviously wrong as part of this.
No, I swear. It cuts back, guys.
Yeah, so you get to kind of roughly the position you think you should be at, kind of thing. It's taken a little longer than you maybe wanted to. It's a little bit darker than maybe you planned. It's not dark, obviously, but you're very far out. There's no ambient light this far out in the country, if you will. And it feels, well, spooky all the way out here, kind of thing. Like, you can kind of see the glow from other farms and homesteads off in the distance. You can kind of way the heck far away. You can hear kind of the town sounds of what is Malta, kind of thing. And yeah, so you got to duck into the field. You got to keep walking down the road for a little bit. What's the plan?
Let's park the truck, grab our gear, walk halfway down the road before going into the farm field.
You're the boss.
A little bit closer to the house.
Sure. You successfully walk, kind of thing. Nothing bad happens. No, you hear maybe a coyote off in the distance or something like that. You're just kind of way the hell out there. Arguably, maybe like some of you have never been this far away from civilization in some ways ever before, kind of in this type of situation. But yeah, so you kind of get to roughly where you're trying to get to. Probably about time to split up, give or take. Any parting words, any thoughts going through your heads at this point? It's time to raid.
So I guess we didn't really talk about this. Is the cleared property so big that it would take like a really long time for two of the people to walk all the way around to the corn on the other side?
Being careful, 10 minutes. If they're not being careful, probably 5 minutes. Like, it's not a huge property, but we'll take them some time to kind of zig all the way out.
Okay. And do we have a way of communicating with each other?
You do not have walkie-talkies, but you could do the old like animal sounds trick if you wanted to.
We did have walkie-talkies.
Who's got a good owl?
No, you're right. I think someone actually did bring walkie-talkies. Was that last operation?
I do carry a throat microphone and earpiece in my bag, but I don't know if
I'll say you have walkie-talkies then. Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Okay.
I think I got something like that too.
Yeah, that was included in my standard loadout. I don't know
how to use them, but yeah.
Police band radio with earpiece. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I have.
It's yeah.
So. Okay. So
okay.
Yote and I will circumnavigate the property, and we'll radio you, and we're on the other side of the house essentially, and we'll both. Each team will enter the property simultaneously. We'll go to the front. The other two go to the back.
All right, we'll do recon until you get in position.
Sounds good.
Sit here and watch.
All right, so Jotun and I are continuing to trek through the farm, trek through the corn.
Yeah. While you're doing that, give me a stealth check at plus 20.
I actually succeeded. 24 out of, a modified 32.
87 out of 50, failure.
Yeah. Shit. The corn's swaying a little bit. It's making some rustling noises, but yeah, no, nothing. No one seems to have a reaction to this. You can kind of see the silhouette of the farmhouse. Like, it's dark. There's no lights on, as best you can tell at the kind of general location. Yeah, so you kind of successfully kind of move your way around. You're in position. You're not. Give me an alertness check.
85 out of 53 fail.
82 failure.
26 out of 52 success.
It's creepy. Like, there's something off-putting about this situation. It's too quiet. There are just no signs of life, kind of thing. Like, there should be some light on, maybe an electrical hum or something like that. It's just dead silent out here. Too quiet. Like, things aren't even this quiet in nature. Like, there should be the sound of bugs or maybe insects or something, just kind of off in the distance, but just like you're almost in this bubble of weird, oppressive, unnatural silence.
Jackal, you noticed that?
I mean, do I notice nothing?
Yeah. I've been out in the middle of nowhere before. It's not like this. I don't even hear any wind.
Now that you pointed it out, I don't even hear any crickets either.
Nope. Not a bird. Don't hear the town anymore either. Quite unusual.
Do we break the silence and do this?
We're ready when you are.
All right. Jumper, jet lag, commence. Go.
All right, everyone give you athletics checks on this one. We'll even give you a +10 because you kind of had some chance to prepare for it and done your stretches, I assume.
Tackle, 10 out of 60. Success.
Hey, 28 out of 51.
Jet lag, 60 out of something, fail. 44.
I got a 63 out of 32, I guess 42. It's a failure.
All right, so jet lag and the Jotun fall a little bit behind the kind of pace of these things, but you all kind of Jackal and Jumper kind of make their way to the house faster. They one of you guys give me a strength check.
One of Jackal and Jumper, or one of the... Okay.
83 out of 65, failure.
Yes, you kick the door, and it doesn't kind of break in as you were hoping it would, but it doesn't feel like it's locked even. Like, you feel it shift too much for a locked door.
I just try to open it.
Yeah, and it swings open freely. And dark inside the house. You might want to use your flashlights on the guns at that point, or you can kind of rely on your natural-born ability to see in the dark. What's the plan as you move in?
Flashlight on.
All right, so Jackal and Jumper, give me kind of sweeps of the room. Give me a search.
We fell behind, so we're not in the house yet? Is that the...
Not yet. You're going to get a second. You're going to get a chance to do some stuff in a second.
Okay, did Jumper go to the back door or the front door with Jackal? Because the original plan was the Jumper.
Back.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
74 out of 41, I failed.
All right, so Jackal, inside you are seeing just this thick layer of dust on everything inside. And as you kind of pan your flashlight back and forth, someone furnished this place, but like it doesn't look lived in at all. Like it's just like they put stuff there for the sake of putting stuff there, or maybe it was there when it was bought and it's just been collecting dust ever since. Like nothing in here looks used. It's all just kind of there. There's no footprints in the dust, no nothing. All right, Jumper, now your turn. So you're at your door. You're gonna kick it in. You got what's the plan?
I'm gonna try for the handle.
Yep.
Does it open?
It just opens up on you, kind of thing. Again,
quiet as possible. I don't have my flashlight on at this point, so I'm just like swinging it open, and picking myself in.
Unfortunately, you do not see anything while you're in there. But all right, so now Jotun and Jetlag, you successfully catch up to the two people that made it in first. Kind of funneling behind them, I assume.
Yeah. So, like, kind of, what's the layout we're seeing? Which room was entered at the front door, and which room was entered at the back door? Like kitchen, living room.
So Jackal's team, you're pretty sure you're in like a kitchen/dining space, and Jumper's team, you're not really sure what you're looking at yet because no one succeeded to search up there yet.
Okay, well, I will attempt to search at least now that I am in the room, see if I see anything. 40 out of 50 success.
And kind of like a living room of some kind. Again, like the same deal where someone furnished it. There's a couch, there's an armchair, there's even a TV, but it's all just covered in this thick layer of dust. And I'm not talking like run your finger and it comes back gray. I'm talking like put a ruler down with the dust. It's like an eighth of an inch thick kind of dust across everything. Like years of dust buildup kind of thing.
Do you want me to run a search check for... Sorry, go ahead. Jetlag.
I was just going to ask if do we see any stairs? Are there more rooms to be investigating?
Yeah, so the team in the front in the kind of living room area, you would see stairs that go upstairs. The team that's kind of by the kitchen, you'd see a door that leads to assumably the living room, and then kind of one that snakes back into another part of the house.
Oh, if it's my turn, I want to go up the stairs.
All right.
Jackal.
And I'm with him at this point?
Yeah.
All right. Can I roll is there anything I should be rolling? Search or anything? Stealth?
You can roll some stealth if you want.
56 out of 12. Failure.
Every step, the house is just like squeaking and screaming as an old house does as you go. Again, like it's the only sounds you're hearing, though. Like if you thought the outside was quiet, the inside, like the slight sounds you're making as you ascend these stairs, just feel deafening in the kind of still silence of the space. Back to the kind of team in the kitchen, though. I guess it's Jotun and Jackal that have gone upstairs now.
We can see the living room, which, of course, could we see the lights from the other team?
Yeah, you can kind of get to the occasional reflections of that, but yeah.
So I want to head the other direction, the part that snakes back.
Yeah.
I'll follow.
All right, so you kind of walk through that, and you find yourself in maybe an office space or a study or something. You can't quite tell based on just kind of a cursory look. But, like, again, this thick layer of dust is everywhere. Give it a search.
Yep. At this point, I will turn on my light.
Yep.
22 out of 50 critical. Success.
Nice.
Well, there you go. I beat my 6 out of 41. We know what this room's all about.
I think we're doing well.
So yeah, again, this room is kind of deserted, and this is kind of like, so in the dust, you do see what appears to be like a picture of some kind hung on the wall. It's covered over with a sheet of some kind, as best you can tell. It's kind of, and the entire thing's kind of almost lost to the wall. It's so dark and dusty here.
It's a picture of what?
You're not sure. It's covered with like a big sheet, so you can't see what it is, but it's a definite outline, a picture covered, or of a kind of picture frame covered.
Like a large picture frame?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jumper, help me take this sheet off this picture. Let's see what's under here.
All right. Kind of secure my gun and pull the sheet off.
Yeah, so you pull the sheet off, and you are greeted with a kind of very ornate, old-school oil painting of none other than Herr Felder. It's him in his kind of youth. He's like, if you had to guess, he's probably in his like late 20s, early 30s, and kind of on a little plaque at the bottom of it, it reads William Felder. Just kind of reads that name out. Sorry, Wilhelm Felder.
Oh, Wilhelm.